to this new episode of Continuum Gaming, and today we are going to have a look at 3 different games again, which will be Spider Free Cell Solitaire, Can You Make a Word? There's no but it's a better English if I'm putting it there, and Fishing Hook. My name is Gerald. As always, I've got a couple of different things with me, which are of course some kind of mouse, in this case, Bluetooth mouse. I'm going to use a Foldable keyboard, which is this one, a Bluetooth enabled keyboard that can be connected to, for instance, a smartphone. In this case, the smartphone is going to be a Windows 10 mobile smartphone with Continuum enabled on it. So Microsoft Continuum, as the channel is named, is more or less on this device. And it has a USB-C connector at the bottom, which is connected to a Microsoft, get that away, Microsoft display dock, which is more or less a pretty good USB-C hub. And in this there is, for instance, an HDMI connector and stuff like that integrated, and so it can be connected to this TV we are watching this now on. And Continuum means that we are watching it more or less in a desktop-like experience, which is created by the smartphone. And that is more or less what we are going to use here for games and other stuff. And if you want to know more about all these, please have a look at the corner up there. There are a couple of other videos where I'm going to talk about that in more in-depth, more or less. And yeah, so I would say let's start with the first game. The first game is going to be Spider Free Cell Solitaire. Solitaire is a very, very classic game, and so I wanted to put one in too. It's more or less what you all know about that, but still, since it is just such an iconic game, more or less, I wanted to include it, and it's a pretty nice iteration of that game, so we will have a look at that and see how it's going to be. For that, I'm not even sure if there is any kind of music playing. No, I don't think so. I'm going to change my position just to play with you in a little bit of a better way, and just to show you what's going on. It's a very classic game, so there's not too much to think about here. What you can already see is I already played it one time and then needed 8 minutes, or about 9 minutes. Had 222 moves, more or less, to complete everything. And other than that, just click on play in this case, get a new one, and we are going to start this. And as you can see, it's already the normal way to play Solitaire in this case, and it's more or less exactly that. So all you have to do is more or less get everything that is placed at the moment at this position, and it's going to be available here, to these 4 slots, more or less. For that, I'm going to just click on that, and as you can see, we can have a look if something is possible here. What has to be done here is more or less you have those cards, and all the cards are more or less in a row. So there is of course a card of 2, 3, 4, 5. That is a row that is going to be yeah, more or less going up. In this case, you're going to go down. And what you have to do here is you will have to try to get everything placed under first here to put it over there then. Or better to say, this is your play field, more or less. And yeah, the order of the cards is really important. So first the scanning, and here we need it up rising, so up scanning, or S scanning, better to say. So first off, what we have to do here is to put all those parts in one row. One thing to notice here is that there are of course those picture cards, let's call it that. So there's a queen, a king, and I'm not even sure what that would be in English. Junker probably, I'm not sure. It's more or less a Bube in German, so those are the picture cards, and those have the numbers too. In Solitaire, the king is the highest one, and you're going to go down from the king, queen, Bube, Junker, whatever, and then 10 and so on. And another thing you have to notice is that in this case, at this position, you have to always go from black to red and from red to black again. so you have to iterate the color more or less too. So let's have a look. For instance, we can put this to this, because as you can see, Queen, then there is Junker, and Queen was black, so this one has to be red in this case. Yeah, and now you just have to put everything on the screen or on the play field here to go wherever you can go. And as you can see, we don't have an option here to put anything to that, so you can click here to get a new number. And as you can see, this is a too high number, so 7, I cannot put it here, because as mentioned before, here you are going to need to go with 7, 6, 5 and so on. So the descending way. On the other side here, you are going to have to go the other way around. And here you will have to start with the A's more or less then. Okay, so let's see how many I can put out here, or how many I get here, and see if I can do anything about it. Here you can see we can put this, for instance, here. And now you can just try and see if you find what you need to go on here. Not at the moment. This one can be put, for instance, here or wherever I want to put it. And there is a 3, which is not helping us at the moment. That one can be put here. And we are just going to go through all of this now. 2 is a great number, but not what we need at the moment. Will be very important for the other way around later on. That one, for instance, can be put here. 5, 8, that one can be put there. And just to let you know, if you don't know how to go on, you have this tip here. If you click on that, you can, for instance, get an info what to do. And you can move the cards around like I did, or you just click on them. That's going to help you too. So you can even play like this. So if you don't know what's going on or something, you might be able to just click on the parts and put them here too, like this. A little bit, yeah, it's a little bit of a pity that you can't put the 5, for instance, behind that. So putting cards behind the other cards is not possible neither. And of course, what you will have to do is you will have to put all the different cards which are in the card game on the screen once, so you can put them there. This is more or less what you have to do in this whole game. You can move around, for instance, bigger parts of that too. So if you want to move, for instance, this, you can do that too. And of course, if you don't know what to do, he's going to give you a hint at least where to go next and what to do. Yeah, and this is more or less how the game is going to be played. Just try it out. It's classic solitaire game. You can have a look at the different options here. There are a couple of different things like the sounds and stuff you can more or less pick through and do stuff with. But if you like solitaire, it's a great game, just try it out. If you don't like it or don't like any kind of card games, especially not the ones that are played more or less alone, then this is not the game for you. Get something else. Maybe that something else could be something like a word game, because the second game is a word game which is called, as I mentioned before, Can You Make Words? So can you make a word? Probably it was too long for him then. So we are going to have a look at this game too. Interestingly enough, about this game, you are not going to see much at the start. So first off, I just thought, hey, that is broken, a broken game. Happens from time to time, and then I'm just not going to do anything. But what you can do is just click a couple of times just to see if something is happening. After a while you might see that something is happening, as mentioned before, and now you are going to be able to play this game. What you already can see, it's a 3D game with a couple of different backgrounds, for instance, and for some reason or the other, the menu is more or less a cow, I think a bird, and more or less these parts here. So not very complex or something, but if you like this kind of game, you might want to try this out, because what you are going to do in this game is you are going to try to let's go with 4 letters or something. This is more or less about the difficulty level of the game. And as you can see, you will have to now try to create a word from these letters you see down there. And those are going to be put after each other. As you can see, there is more or less a typing sound, and you can see what you more or less type with that. And of course it's tick in this case. So we got the first word right. And the 4 letters, 8 letters, whatever you selected before is more or less how long the word is going to be, you see there. And as mentioned before, we have a menu more or less. So going to the cow, I'm not even sure. I think this is a tip or something, but I'm not really sure. I think it's just telling you which is the first letter you will have to use. If you want to use that, do it. The same again. Oh, okay, sorry. You can put them back, and of course then you get the next word after that. This of course is Nick in this case. Get the next one. And this is more or less what you are going to play here. It's a pretty simple game, but if you like those word games and stuff like that, this might be a nice iteration. Don't ask me what all the scenery and stuff like that is. I think the developer just had fun with that, so putting a bird and stuff like that in there to have some kind of a menu. Just do it if you want to, I don't know. In the end, a nice little game. If you want to go back, go to the bird. It's going to fly around, and now you can, for instance, go for the 8 or 6 letter words and try it again and play those. All you will have to do here is more or less get your score up. That is what you are going to try to achieve in this game. But somehow it's fun in itself to more or less explore the game. And of course, if you like those word games, just try it out. Okay, so let's have a look at the last game in our mashup today, which is going to be Fishing Hook. Fishing Hook is a fishing game where you are going to try to, of course, get different fish out, buy different parts for fishing. So there are hooks, and there are, of course, the... Interesting. I don't know the word for that, sorry. What would be the word for fishing hook? Whatever. Let's have a look at that. So I can see, I can click on fishing hook. It takes a little bit of time to load it, and the first time you're trying to load it, it might even crash, but if you're trying to load it a second time, then it's going to load. I think he's going to get some information from the internet or something in the background before you can play it, and if you are not patient with the game, then it's going to go down. But as you can see, here we go, hook. And it's a fishing hook. I like the info there you're seeing there. And yeah, as mentioned before, something is happening here. You might get some kind of a lag or some kind of a problem here, but after a while you're going to be able to play the game. So there's some kind of loading time in between there. But don't think that it's broken or something. You can really easily play this. You just have to wait a little bit to play it then. Okay, and playing is done with your keyboard or with your mouse, whatever you want to use there. I like the keyboard more, if I have to say. And so I'm going to turn around again and show you what's going on here. So first off, all you are going to do is more or less fish in this game. So you are going to get different fishes. You have quests more or less. So in this case, just catch 2 fish. And I already did that, so I have more or less some kind of an helper here, so got money for that and stuff like that. And other than that, there are a couple of different options here. For instance, you can go to the store, or the shop in this case, and get, for instance, hooks. Yeah, don't get that one. Angelrute, I'm not sure what the name for that is in English, but it's the stick you're holding more or less. And of course, a couple of different other things you can use here. But what, sorry for the sound there, but whatever. In the end, what you can already see here is you have a couple of different options here to go in. Have a look at the settings, for instance, if you like the vibration on or off. There can be sound, and there can of course be centimeters or foot. So just select a different unit. Okay, and yes. I think my neighbor is doing something. So it's not in-game in this case, but I can't really do much about that. Okay. And yeah, he's going to give you, or she's going to give you some information about how to play the game and stuff like that. But what we are going to use here is, of course, as you can see, the space bar. And now you are just going to wait a little, and now you see this little iteration or yeah, status bar more or less up there, and you will have to keep your power bar in a nice part. So as you can see, it's a red part you see there, and there is of course a green one. And if there are a couple of different things you shouldn't do with your fish. For instance, if you are giving it too much line, you see, you can already see if you are giving it too much line, for instance, he's going to just go away with your line more or less. And if you are not giving it enough line, then it might break your line. In the end we got one. Here we go. So just keep the power bar there in the middle more or less. That is what you should aim for. If you are giving it too much pressure against that more or less, then he's going to break your line there. And if you are going to just let it too loose, then he's going to swim away and you're not going to get it. So you really have to just try to get the right feeling for your part here, for your whatever, and then you can of course catch it. And after that you can just decide, would you like to put it back into the sea, for instance, would you like to sell it, or would you like to put it into your own little library more or less. So there's some kind of an aquarium more or less which you can use, and it's going to be in the tank now of your fish tank more or less. And so that is there. And after that just play again if you want to. And of course try to get all the different quests here. So in this case we have to insert 2 fish into our tank. One is in our tank already, second one should be in there. And here you can have a look at the fishes you already got, 3 in this case. And here is more or less a tank, and which of the fishes, yeah, it's not the tank itself, it's where you are playing. You can buy different things with that. And you have money for that, which is this in-game money, and of course you're receiving that for selling fish and doing other stuff here. And in the end, this is more or less what the game is all about. So just try to fish as many fish as you can, try to get them, earn money and buy new equipment for that, and so on and so forth. I kind of like the game. It's a little bit fun to play, it's something a little bit different. I didn't see anything like that before. And so it's pretty nice. Try it out if you haven't till now. And other than that, I would say we are through with the episode. Thank you for watching again. Thank you for listening, of course, too. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, of course. If for some reason or the other you don't like it, the other button is there too. Other than that, of course, the commentary section is open for you. So just put something in. I'm trying to more or less answer everything I can. And of course, if you didn't subscribe till now, there is a button down below too, helps the channel, you know the drill. And other than that, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, have a great time, have a great day, have a great week. We see us in the next episode again, and till then, bye. Bye.